According to league sources, Watson offered his input on potential candidates, but the Texans neither considered nor consulted with those endorsed by their franchise quarterback. Additionally, the Texans did not inform Watson that they intended to hire Nick Caserio, and he found out about the hiring on social media. And all of that led to Watson taking to Twitter on Tuesday night. And as you see, he posted, "Some things never change." Now, last offseason, Houston didn't let Watson know that the star wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins would be traded, and that led to a great deal of disappointment. We should also note that according to sources, Watson's feelings were not directed toward Caserio, but instead toward how the Texans handled this situation. So for a franchise that has had its share of problems, here's another one, and it's one they clearly did not need, and Bart Scott is ready to go now and getting up with us as well. So, RC, I will start with you. We sort of sit back and look at this. Houston, we have a problem. What do you make of it?
Listen, during the social injustice movements and the protests, Bob McNair, who is now passed on, let us know how this organization would be run. The separation between labor and ownership. We understood that. And so now Kel McNair is just continuing in that traditions because apples seem to not fall far from trees. You get rid of DeAndre Hopkins this offseason, and now you tell Deshaun Watson that you would include him. He's the one guy on your team that went out and played every week. He's the guy that rode on the bus from Houston to Jacksonville in order to play in the game because of a punctured lung. He's a dude that Dabo Swinney called MJ. He had MJ-like numbers this year. 88% of the Houston Texans offense was Deshaun Watson. And now you tell this player, your franchise player, the guy that you made the highest paid player per year for the next 5 years, that you're going to include him, and you don't. You don't talk to him. You don't consult him. You don't bring in the one guy that he asked you to interview for the head coach, and that is an issue. Now, it doesn't mean that the Houston Texans are wrong. It means that the Houston Texans aren't changing. The Houston Texans have not learned from their past mistakes. And when TJ Watt, right, who's basically the face of your franchise, at least till now, has to apologize to Deshaun Watson for wasting a year of his life, for wasting a year of his career, 2 weeks or a week after he goes on TV and blasts his team for not working hard. He says, but you're the one dude that was out here every week. You're the one dude that's carried us. But the Houston Texans don't consult this man, don't consult the quarterback. And you know what? It's not wrong that they didn't consult him. It's wrong that they lied to him. This is a continuation of a badly run organization, of a dysfunctional front office, and this is just the next chapter.
And he really, at this point, candidly, is the only thing they have going for them. So to alienate him, no matter how you go about doing it, strikes me as an enormous mistake. Bart Scott, what do you think?
I mean, remember Bob McNair famously said that inmates can't run an asylum. And you have to understand, in the modern day athlete, they want inclusion. They want to make sure that they feel appreciated, that their opinion is valued, because he's the guy that has to go out and make everything work. When you decided to trade DeAndre Hopkins, it was him that had to get everybody in that locker room on board to say, hey, we're still trying to win, guys. We still can win. We still can get it done. Bill O'Brien ran that organization into the ground. And now you're bringing in another Patriot disciple. Now, listen, I don't know anything about Nick Caserio. I know they've been trying to get him for a couple of years. But, you have to include your franchise quarterback. You have to include your CEO of your corporation, the guy that's going to make everything okay. He's the gap and he's the bridge between management and labor. And to not include him and not give him an opportunity to at least value his opinion or hear him out, I think is mismanagement at the least. And the fact that you talk about African-American quarterbacks, we don't expect this from maybe Ben Roethlisberger, who was very involved in figuring out, hey, we're going to leave out without Le'Veon Bell. We're going to be without Antonio Brown. But now he's seen as a young athlete. He's not a young player anymore. He should be included because he's one of the best players this game has.
Nick, what do you think?
Well, look, it's not the first and it won't be the last time a player is lied to. Look, the ownership, they're pretty confident in their abilities, that they've been successful their whole lives. They've made business decisions and they own teams and they're billionaires. So, for them, I feel like it's probably some cockiness. It's arrogance on the part of, hey, look, I don't need a player to tell me who I should hire and who I shouldn't hire. So at the end of the day, when you don't have those decisions being made by any of the players, no input, really, they don't care about your input anyway, because we're just running these numbers. They know that in 5-10 years, there's going to be a new quarterback there. Ownership will still be the ownership. It'll still be the family. They'll still make hundreds of millions of dollars. So I mean, it's got to be frustrating, especially if you were told that you would have some input. And, you know, the one thing I would say is if you're Nick Caserio, Billy O got tons of heat for trading away Hopkins. Imagine if you're the new GM and you trade away the best player on your team. That's not going to help your case to winning over the fans. No, not going to help you.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.